Hi, Pullan here from Now Spinning Magazine, and as promised, here is part 2 of the Made in Japan video series. In the first one I looked at the album and how I found it, what it means to me, and my insights behind what is probably one of the best, double live albums of all time. And I said I'd do a part 2. I looked at all the different versions, and some of you eagle-eyed spotters noticed that there wasn't a Japanese live in Japan version sitting behind me in episode 1. Well, it's in episode 2. I just forgot about it and it was still on the shelf. So let's look at Made in Japan, and I'll talk about which is the best version on CD and what to look for if you go for the vinyl. Here we go. So here's my original vinyl version from 1972, although I picked it up in 1973. It's a very, very luxurious looking item, and so if you're looking for the original vinyl, you want to be looking for this absolutely gorgeous golden laminate, because the later versions don't have that. They're more matte, and I'll show you that with the 2014 reissue. I've got 2 of the originals. I have a backup in case something ever happens to this. I mean, this has got a bit of ring wear, but it's been played. I've been playing this for nearly 50 years, so you know, I'd expect that really. The other one of interest for vinyl is the Japanese version, and Japan always went somewhere different, and they called it Live in Japan, and it had a totally different artwork for the cover, and the pictures on the inside were also very, very different as well. It stated it was from Tokyo, making it look like it was a totally different recording, but it wasn't a different recording at all. My first CD version I actually bought was the Japanese version of Live in Japan, because Made in Japan at the time when I first got into CD hadn't appeared, and this version, which follows the vinyl one exactly with all the same kind of readouts, it also has like their reproduced autographs and stuff, and the pictures are also duplicated. You always get the lyrics like you always do with Japanese CDs, and you also have these pictures as well. So you'll see when I do my summary at the end, I highly recommend this particular version because it mimics the vinyl version exactly, with the fade outs and the words that are used. Next up, actually, the one I got was this, which was the 3 CD set, again using the same cover but slight variations, which compiled all 3 concerts together. And this was a big deal when this came out, because for decades Deep Purple fans wanted to know what happened on the other nights. Did they pick the best tracks? The mix on this isn't perfect, but this was the version to have for quite a while. And typical of Simon Robinson, in a good way, it was incredibly detailed, with lots of memorabilia. And again, the photos from the Live in Japan poster there. And then all the different variations of Made in Japan that have made their way onto Planet Earth were listed towards the back. And then he also listed which versions were actually taken Made in Japan. And most of the versions came from the second night on the 16th of August. Nothing came from the first one because they were all so nervous and just stood there. And on the third night, only Lazy came out of it, although the version of Strange Kind of Woman, which is an extra minute and a half long, was absolutely fantastic. So that you can pick up, I think, quite cheaply if you want to, but it's a different mix to what came later with the Super Deluxe Edition. After that, we're into the 25th anniversary, and they produced it in a black sleeve, which meant you couldn't read any of the writing. And this was a 2-disc set. And it basically on CD2 was the Encores, and the Encores on this one were Black Knight, Speaking and Lucille. For the booklet, they basically used a truncated version of the 3 CD set which had come out earlier. So I think that's probably quite hard to find now, because in many respects it's a bit redundant. They also swapped over the channels for Blackmore and Lord. So that brings us to the box. This is the Super Deluxe Edition box set. I went for the CD version. There was also a triple vinyl set as well, covering each night. Inside the box, the first thing you get is a single of Smoke on the Water on probably 200 gram vinyl, so it feels very, very weird being a single. So Smoke on the Water live and Smoke on the Water single version. You also got the Japanese tour program from 1972, which I think was a great touch. Obviously, as you'd expect, it's all in Japanese. But some great live photos that don't get seen very often. And great to see that the only albums available at this time was just In Rock, in Concerto of a Group in Orchestra, Fireball and Machine Head. And other things that were going on there, James Gang, Dusty Springfield, T-Rex. And a nice advert there for a national cassette player and, of course, Machine Head. You then got a peep frame family tree as well. Which I'll bring up separately. Covering the whole of the Purple family. And also a press release for Live in Japan, as it was called in Japan, before it became Made in Japan. The main then part of this box is the book with the CDs. Now, before I go there, all of these had an error with them. And this badly stuck on little sticker at the top of the box was put on because the quality control in some of these things is just appalling. And instead of saying Smoke on the Water, they actually misspelt smoke and put another E on the end. And so they had to quickly put these stickers on the back of every single box, which is, well, a shame really, to say very least. But anyway, the book itself is a hardback book. Let's put that to one side. And the CDs are kept in the left-hand side of the book for each concert. So that's on the 15th, 16th and 17th of August. Just the sticker that came with it. Super Deluxe Edition, complete 1972 Japanese tour, nearly remastered and in full for the first time. And the CD, so first 3 CDs are the concerts. CD 4 was Encores for all 3 nights, and a DVD with a new 60-minute documentary featuring unseen live footage and bonus features. Okay, so here we go. Now, I've presented a lot of books recently on this channel, and looking back now at this one, this was art, too much art here if you ask me, when people just want the facts and the stuff. So some of these pages seem like wasted. You know, the art they put on the kind of spotted stuff like an old negative is fine, but they could have put more content in, to be honest. So you've got there the Encores, which is obviously more Encores than the 25th anniversary CD, and all of the 3 nights. And the pictures are okay, but again, they've tried to be too arty when they didn't need to be, if you ask me. I like stuff like this. Nice double spread, but by sticking the Japanese flag on, it makes it hard to actually see. The font is huge, but I suppose they just wanted to talk to as many people as possible. And so there's a sense that it was kind of rushed, really. Got Slash there saying what he thinks about the album. Chad Smith, Lars Ulrich, Bruce Dickinson, and various other people. There's an essay, which you'd hope to see. Leslie West, Joey Tempest, Martin Drudel, Dave Fricke from Rolling Stone magazine. Nice picture of Richie there. Alex from Testament. Tommy Shaw from Styx. Adrian Vandenberg, the original press ad there. Dave Manichetti from YT. So it's a very mixed amount of people. You've got Mark Portnoy, obviously, Robin Zander. Mark Portnoy would obviously talks about a lot of these things. And lots of stories, Malcolm Dome. But there's a feeling, Lita Ford, Vinnie Moore, Biff, from Saxon, but I just feel they could have maybe done better with this. So I was a little bit disappointed, but obviously now I'm very pleased I've got it. Like pages like this, great, but I'm sure there could have been something else to take up that time. The remixing notes from Martin Pullan are excellent, and you realise just how hard this was to pull together. And again, another arty picture. Then we've got the lyrics, which is great and obviously replicated from the Japanese set. And another arty picture, which would be nice without the Japanese filter on. And then an article, contemporary one from 1972. And then the discography of every single version of Made in Japan, again, that's ever come out, but far better to see. Now, some of the, for instance, the researchers needed to do a bit more research. Obviously, this picture of Richard Blackmore here is a Mark III, and has got nothing to do with Made in Japan whatsoever. And then we've got the album credits, saying who mixed it, which is a mixture between Caveman Shirley and Martin Pullan. And then we're out with some more arty pictures. And then at the back we've got the Encores and the DVD, which is well worth seeing. So from there, if you didn't want to buy that, many people went for this, which is the double set, which was the Made in Japan on one disc and the Encores on the other, which is a bit weird because it's as if like they all came back on the second night or fourth night just to play the Encores. The booklet is black, a bit like the hardback book, and again they've gone for this kind of very arty way of looking at it. It's a very, very trimmed down book, but different than you know what you would normally see. So Blackmore through the eras, even Mark III. Malcolm Dome did the essay. Okay, but again, and I'll say this in my summary, this mix is not what you'd expect. You know, one disc is by Kevin Shirley, and the other mix of the disc 2 is by Martin Pullan. On the major box, they did it together. So interesting, to say the least. On the single disc version, which is a very, very cheap looking affair really, there's not even a booklet with this one. They've just basically given you the fold out of what was the original vinyl. But this was mixed by Martin Pullan on his own. Confusing, huh? And then there's finally the remaster of the vinyl itself. As you can see, as I said, the cover is a matte gold finish. This was basically remastered by Martin Pullan, but not remixed at all. So it's the original mix as it was. Hope you enjoyed that journey through the different versions and variants of Deep Purple's Made in Japan. So which one would I recommend, and where should you start? And what happens if you just want a CD version of the vinyl as it was when it came out in Christmas 1972? Well, on the Super Deluxe Edition, you've got the version that's been mixed by Kevin Shirley and Martin Pullan, and that to me is the best sounding version. You've got the 3 separate nights, the whole thing, plus a DVD. So that is the one, as a collector, and for me, as a Deep Purple fan, that is the one that I love the most. But the thing is with the 2014 remaster reissue series is the fact that each variant that came out, whether it was the 2 CD disc or the 1 single disc or the vinyl album again, they weren't the same mixes. So Kevin Shirley and Martin Pullan did the Super Deluxe one. The 2 CD version, Kevin Shirley did the main Made in Japan album, and that's his mix of it. And Martin Pullan did the Encores, so that's his mix. On the single CD version, Martin Pullan's mix was used. I mean, how confusing is this? And on the reissue vinyl, they used the original mix, but Martin Pullan remastered it. And each one of these is different, is slightly different. Also, in the way the tracks are, when I say sequence, they're in the same order, but the way they've left the crowd noise on, or they've left different bits of in between song dialogue, is also different. So if you want a CD version of the original vinyl mix, where it fades and you hear Gillan saying what he says, etc., the best version is the Japanese CD called Live in Japan. That one is exactly the same as the vinyl version that was released in Christmas 1972. All the others aren't. The 1999 one, the 25th anniversary, they've swapped over the channels, and I don't really think, I think they lost something on that. And this, which I got so excited about, because the first time in hearing, the three nights all at once, it's great, but the mix isn't perfect. So try, if you can, to hunt down the big box. But if you can't, then Kevin Shirley's 2 CD version with Martin Pullan doing the other one is probably the best. And if you want the original mix, then it's the Japanese one, which you can pick up from eBay for not that high a price, actually. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you for hopefully enjoyed this. And if you want me to do any other classic albums, then just let me know. Any more purple stuff, just let me know. And I really appreciate your support. And I'll see you on my next video.